The Rock was called out during last night's WWE SmackDown. A rumoured WWE signing could be returning to Impact tonight, and a major new stable was teased on SmackDown. Stay tuned for the news. For the past few years, a lot of the discussion has been, when will The Rock return to WWE? When will The Rock get involved in the hottest storyline that WWE has produced in years? When will The Rock be finally called out by a top-level WWE star? And it happened last night. But it was not exactly how many people had envisioned it, because...
Yeah, you could say that.
Following some back and forth online, The Rock was called out by Grayson Waller. Now, no disrespect to Grayson Waller, I do believe that he is a future main eventer, and they've positioned him so far on the main roster anyway. But yeah, Grayson Waller called out The Rock during last night's SmackDown. It was ahead of his Fatal 4-Way United States Championship Invitational match. That was quite a few words to remember there. He was putting this match, Fatal 4-Way, ultimately won by Santos Escobar, but the real talking point is he called out The Rock.
Yeah, I mean, you got to reach for the stars, you know? You got to really go in there and aim high. So you got to commend him on it.
Right. Well, there was a little bit back and forth online this past week. The Rock responding to Grayson Waller, and who'd mocked his entrance attire at Madison Square Garden on The Rock's or The Rock's debut attire, I should say, as Rocky Maivia. And obviously, Grayson Waller was facing Edge last week in Madison Square Garden, came up short, and he was speaking to Kathy Kelly backstage, where he discussed that and sort of discussed the fact that if he'd had a bit more time to prepare, he would have won, but said that everyone is talking about Grayson Waller, including The Rock, and said that even though his family is imploding, he is focused on Grayson Waller, finally ending by saying that if The Rock wants the Grayson Waller rub, he knows where to find him. Do we think we're going to see The Rock return to WWE for the Grayson Waller effect, Sam?
Look, it's not out of the remit. You know, we've had Kurt Angle just pop back up for a bit. We've had Stone Cold pop back.
We have,
you know, we had Vince turn up and actually have a match. There's a lot of strange things that can happen in the world of WWE. But at the same time, I could see this somehow working. I don't know, like, people are clamoring for The Rock to get involved with Roman and everything, obviously,
of course,
but I think that there's a way in which you can make this happen, or maybe make both happen. Have Grayson Waller there, have The Rock come out and level him, and then just grab the mic and be like, right, Roman, and go from there.
It would be a really fun way to do it. It's crazy.
You don't really want to beat Grayson Waller into the ground straight away, though, do you?
But it's The Rock.
Yeah, it is The Rock. Yeah,
and
it's sort of like
having
getting
him
punched in the face by Jesus, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, Grayson Waller has been positioned pretty well. We know that WWE see him as a future main eventer. Money in the Bank, he interrupted John Cena, and he actually held his own against John Cena on the mic, and in terms of getting heat from the crowd. It was an incredible moment. Thankfully, I was there in person to experience, and the boos to Grayson Waller was insane. And then just a few days later, he was in Madison Square Garden against Edge. Yeah. What an incredible week. Maybe we'll see something with The Rock, but he was called out by Grayson Waller, so we'll keep an eye on that one. But staying with SmackDown just now, LA Knight. Yeah, he's a big deal. He's The Rock. He's the real Rock.
He's The Rock in waiting.
Well, as part of the United States Championship Invitational, a second Fatal 4-Way match was held. It was said to be held next week to determine who'll face Santos Escobar to earn a shot at the United States Championship. LA Knight came to the ring and cut a promo, making a little bit of a reference to those videos that have been going a bit viral.
Yeah, just the thousands and thousands of them. It's very odd. It's almost like interdimensional cable levels of odd.
It really is quite strange. But he made a reference to that, saying that he's everywhere, and then said that soon he'll be everywhere with WWE Championship Gold. Yeah.
Which he should be.
He should be.
Yeah.
And it was confirmed that next week it will be Rey Mysterio versus Sheamus versus Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight.
Which is going to be a dirty match. I mean, as much as I would love Cameron Grimes to walk out here, it's got to be LA Knight. It's got to be LA Knight.
Yeah. I mean, it's between him and Sheamus for me. I feel like out of those two, both of them are positioned quite well to face Austin Theory at SummerSlam.
Yeah, they make the most logical kind of sense as the next step.
But LA Knight's just sitting there. He needs to have that little next thing.
It's like he's just sitting there with the entire crowd behind him. Just basically, don't make me Daniel Bryan this, because they're gonna.
They will, Daniel Bryan. It was so loud last night when he came out to the ring. It was so loud every single week. It's not a surprise. He seems to be the top guy for everyone right now. A lot of people that we spoke to at Money in the Bank wanted LA Knight to win. A lot of people want him to beat Roman Reigns, which is insane. But hopefully going into SummerSlam, he'll be the one to face Austin Theory. But we'll find out next week if he goes through to the next round. But also on SmackDown, there was a little next step with Roman Reigns. What was happening?
Yeah, so on the point of Roman, as you just touched on there, he's going to be back on SmackDown next week to lay out the rules of engagement for his match with Jey Uso at SummerSlam. The meeting's coming a week after Jey Uso attacked both Solo and Heyman.
Heyman took a bump
last night on SmackDown, so it's sort of... it's getting spicy.
Yeah.
It's getting to a point where I think we really need something to ramp things up a bit. I think rules of engagement is really piquing my interest because it makes it seem like there's going to be something special going on in and around the match. Maybe not just a cage, maybe not just a cell, maybe a whole new structure. Come on.
I want a
battle dome. I want a battle dome.
A battle dome, like in Mad Max.
Yeah, like Thunderdome. Yeah. Except
Bring
not
back
that
the Thunderdome. We've had a match before. Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns in a Hell in a Cell in the Thunderdome.
Everybody just glitching in the back.
It's all linked. It's all linked. But yeah, the last night on SmackDown, Solo Sikoa blamed Jey Uso for what happened to Jimmy, saying what happened to Jimmy was all your fault. And then that sort of made Jey Uso snap a little bit. Later on, you know, he had a little scrap with Solo, and then Paul Heyman, bless him, climbs into the ring, goes to... I guess attack Jey?
Intervene, I guess. Yeah.
And just eats a super kick. Just full on eats a super kick and takes a bump. So props to Paul Heyman. Genuinely.
He got a nice nap out of it.
He did.
Yeah.
He got to just sit there. I'd love that. That'd be great. But yeah, Paul Heyman, I guess we'll see next week what happens with Roman Reigns. But yeah, the rules of engagement will be set for SummerSlam next
it could be
week.
like lumberjacky? Like, what can you do to physically stop people interfering? You couldn't trust lumberjacks because Roman could pay somebody off.
Yeah, a bloodline match where it's surrounded by the tribe.
Maybe it's like a Hell in a Cell, but instead of an outside the cell area between the cell and the ring, it's just a pool of blood.
Get this man on the booking committee. He knows his stuff. It's like Vince Russo sitting right here.
Nobody'd be able to use any images of it on YouTube.
Yeah, we would. We'd be done. But it would certainly be a very unique match type, and going from one unique thing to another. In Impact, people seem to come back from the dead. Like it's a thing that is established that happens in Impact.
Yeah, sometimes people just go back to their home planet, and sometimes they return to Impact later.
It's very strange, but one of the such names is Eric Young, and a report from PW Insider has stated that Eric Young has been spotted at the Detroit airport just yesterday afternoon, and the speculation is that he will be Scott D'Amore's partner at Slammiversary.
Yeah, Scott D'Amore's looking for a new partner as PCO is injured/dead, so not legitimately, but you know what I mean. Yeah. It's one of those things in Impact.
He was set on fire.
But when you look back at people with a strong history with the company, Eric Young is certainly somebody who stands out. But we see we see Scott D'Amore on the phone kind of trying to have a conversation with somebody, and he said, "Can you come back to life?" And as the segment ended, he grabbed his Team Canada jersey. So it's a pretty big nod.
It's a pretty big nod. It's either him, Bobby Roode, who Bobby Roode's injured, or P.T. Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
P.T. Williams could work, but between 04 and 06, D'Amore led the Team Canada. It included Eric Young within its ranks. As we said, it kind of ties in nicely. It was reported by Fightful in November that Eric Young had signed with WWE and was recently working backstage, but as of July 2023, we're yet to see him.
We've not seen him yet, and it's a bit of a strange one because there was a lot of report. He left Impact. He was killed off by Cody Deaner, who is now in this match, which adds to the sort of lore surrounding this match as to why it might be Eric Young.
Yeah,
Cody
you'll
Deaner.
get the kind of shocked Kane, like, "No, you're not real."
Exactly.
You're not real.
He's the undead Eric Young, but it is very strange the fact that he is reported to have signed with WWE. He's part of WWE, maybe working backstage. Could this be a little bit of that forbidden door opening?
I don't really think. I think the thing with WWE and Impact was obviously there was a bit of a head-to-head for quite some time where it was like, could they be a threat? Are they possibly a threat? No, they're not a threat. But we've seen them do things before, like when they really wanted Ric Flair back, so they put the Horsemen at the Hall of Fame and they got Ric Flair back and they traded them Christian for a night. And then they got Ric Flair back forever, which sort of led to a very awkward contract situation. But essentially, we've seen them kind of do things like that before. We've seen them collaborate collaborate with people for documentary work.
Yeah.
So I think it might just be more of a favor of like, this is Impact in a very difficult spot. Like, hell yeah, if you can go fill that spot, you're not needed for this or that, go for it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there's more of this moving forward, but I'm excited to see what happens on Slammiversary, which is tonight, so make sure you tune in for that one. But we're going to end just now on a little bit of news again, but from SmackDown, because it's been rumoured for some time that the Hurt Business would be reforming in WWE. It seems like every few months, right? It's going to be cool.
It's every time. It's like, are they going to reform? Oh, I really want to reform.
It's like, yeah, every few months there's like reports and rumours that Hurt Business is going to reform in WWE, and it seems to always fizzle out. But last night we kind of got a little bit more of a tease, like an actual solid tease that it might be happening. Alongside those reports, the Street Profits are being rumoured to turn heel at some point soon.
Yep.
And last night during SmackDown, we saw the Street Profits walking backstage, and then a big blacked out SUV turns up, and it's Bobby Lashley. And he goes, "Ready to go talk?" And they get in and then they drive off.
It's very ominous.
It's ominous.
It's very dramatic.
And it's very dramatic.
But it's very Hurt Business.
It's Hurt Business. I'm really hoping they come back. Street Profits are a fantastic fit for it if they do come back. I'd like to see what they do as a heel, because obviously Montez Ford has such a facey move set.
Well, the thing is, we thought this about the Usos for the longest time, and look at how that's going now and how that's been going. It's one of those things where I think that maybe we become a bit too, I guess, desensitized to certain move sets, and you're just kind of going off the predictability of it. And yeah, it's sort of like a big babyface set of moves, but you can slowly change things out. You can slowly make things more ominous. You can do what the Usos did, and I think it's going to work very, very well should the Street Profits decide to go to the dark side of the Force.
The dark side of the Hurt Business. I'm very excited, but that is all the news we've got for you just now. We'll be back later on today. Make sure you check out all the fantastic content on the channel, including Worst Shows Ever, King of the Ring 1999, and the podcast that went out last night, and of course all the fantastic other content that we've got, like news and lists. We'll see you later on.